Hey, real quick, last question. I think it might have came up. You were Hillary Clinton's CFO in the campaign, right?
It's part of my history.
Were you? Yes or no?
Were you? Yes or no? Were you? Yes or no?
In 2016.
Did you facilitate the payment for the Steele dossier since you were CFO of the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Sir.
Yes or no?
Sir.
Yes or no?
Sir. Yes or no? Sir. Yes or no?
That was not.
You're under oath, Chairman Gensler. Yes or
I
no?
know. I was not something I was aware of.
That was not.
You're under oath, Chairman Gensler. Yes or
I
no?
know. I was not something I was aware of.
Chairman Gensler, part of the SEC's mission is to protect investors. Does the SEC review pre-IPO documents?
I think you said pre-IPO documents. You're supposed to, if you're going to take a company public, the staff of the SEC does review those to see that they're in compliance.
Correct. Is Coinbase a publicly traded company?
I'm sorry?
Is Coinbase publicly traded?
Yes.
All right. So the SEC allowed pension funds and retail investors to invest in a company, Coinbase, that you apparently, from prior remarks, believe was engaging in illegal activity. All of their activities were laid out in their public filings in the S1 prior to the IPO. You did say that you believe Coinbase is selling unregistered securities, correct?
Again, I'm not going to speak to anyone.
No, but you said that they're selling unregistered securities. This is your public comments.
I think, with all respect, I look forward to you finding that because I'm trying to be very careful. I'm not speaking
we'll help
about
refresh your
any one
memory.
company.
In the Kim Kardashian settlement, the SEC stated that Ethereum Max is a security. She reached a settlement for promoting an unregistered security. The unregistered security is Ethereum Max. Have you charged the issuers of Ethereum Max for offering an unregistered security?
We reached a settlement with a celebrity, Ms. Kardashian.
Yeah, but not. She just promoted it. She doesn't operate Ethereum Max. Have you said that Ethereum Max is an unregistered security to the people that offer it?
We did in that settlement, yes, sir.
Okay, it's still trading. What about Ethereum? Is Ethereum now a security?
We had this.
I heard your exchange. They've been in place since 2015. You say in your statements that there's clarity in the market and the rules are clear. Just come on in. You can't even answer the question. Do you say XRP is a security?
We're in court and active
discussions and litigation on that.
You're in litigation because you do say it's a security. As you know, qualified custodian banks would effectively be unable to provide crypto asset related custody as a result of punitive capital impact under accounting provisions in Staff Accounting Bulletin 121. You agree that the bulletin should be amended?
I think that the staff addressed an accounting issue and appropriately saw that crypto assets held in custody today are not segregated or not bankruptcy remote in bankruptcy and should be appropriately put on public company financials.
I wish I had time to go into the ESG rule and everything else. Gensler, your record of failures to protect investors and abuses of power make it clear that we need to restructure the Securities and Exchange Commission. The failures are many, but let me cite some of the abuses. You average more than 2 rules proposals a month. You provide inappropriately short comment periods. You have unworkable and unlawful ESG disclosure mandates on the market. You have essentially a Hotel California rule for crypto where you can check in anytime you like, but you can never leave. You have endless discovery with no resolution and no clarity for the captives in the market. You have unworkable proposals for overhauling equity market structure, a de facto ban on crypto through proposed custody rule. You have high staff turnover, unhappy people leaving your office, and unhappy companies and capital leaving our country. To correct a long series of abuses, I'm introducing legislation that removes the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission and replaces the role with an executive director that reports to the board where all authority would reside. Former chairs of the SEC will be ineligible under my proposed bill. And this isn't just my take. It resonates across the political spectrum. The American people want democratic access to capital, retail investor participation. You can't just exclude retail investors from markets and claim it's for their own good. Our markets need to function and flourish, and I yield back.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Gensler. Last but not least, why don't we just get to it? The commission has been extremely active on the rulemaking front during your tenure at the agency's helm. Let me answer this question. It's actually a follow-up from my colleague, Mr. Norman. Your climate disclosure rule, 500 pages. You say that that's the way we can have uniformity in disclosure, but what provision are you using to create authority for a large climate disclosure when Congress never gave you one?
Congress did give us authority around disclosures in both of our first acts, 1933 Act and 1934 Act.
Chairman Gensler, can you honestly sit there and tell me that in 1933 and 1934, Congress actually anticipated climate disclosure rules?
They didn't anticipate many things. It was 90 years ago, but what they did anticipate is that companies needed to be truthful in their disclosures and
Truthful in their disclosures around their financial practices, around assets, liabilities, earnings per share, return on equity, and I can go on and on and on. But potential climate risks, Congress never anticipated that. Never.
No, it's broader than that, sir, because it's also companies today are already making significant disclosures about climate risk.
But if they do that of their own volition, that doesn't give you the authority to make everybody do it. Just because some are doing it doesn't mean you have to make sure everybody does it.
We, with all respect,
Chairman Glenser, do you disclose how many blue shirts you own? Should we be able to pass a law that makes everybody disclose how many blue shirts they own?
companies that are in the business of raising money from the public are supposed to.
Chairman
make
Gensler, every publicly
disclosures.
traded company raises money. Every one of them does it. That's why they're in the public markets.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you get to arbitrarily create some rule out of thin air that we never granted you to then make them regulate on climate climate emissions. We never did that.
They are already making disclosures, and it's bringing.
Yeah, but you don't have the authority to make it uniform because
We never gave you the authority. You are making a determination and a definition without congressional authority. Yes or no?
We do have authority, sir.
you're making a determination and a definition without congressional authority.
The authority.
Yes or no?
It's the same authorities that
Yes
we
or no?
used to, with all respect, sir. It's the same authorities that we used when we said you had to disclose material risk, that you have to disclose management discussion and analysis.
But material risk and management discussion goes to the actual operations of the business itself. What you're talking about is something dealing with the outside aspects associated with the business. I'm gonna reclaim my time and move on to something else. You said earlier in another line of questioning that the players in the digital asset space don't have a choice, that they have to comply with the rules. But once again, Congress has never given you a framework for regulating digital assets. Where are you pulling that one from?
With all respect, sir, we disagree on this.
Oh, I can see we disagree a lot, Chairman, because we're not giving you authority. You're just taking it. I think that's part of the issue right now.
With all respect, Congress painted with a broad brush when they set up the SEC, and I quote Thurgood Marshall, which is one of the greatest.
Congress painted with a broad brush in 1933 and 1934, not in 2023. We've not touched that. It's a new industry. One last quick question, because I'm concerned about your agency. You have some of the highest turnover amongst the agencies. Do you think you have the manpower to actually regulate digital assets, considering all the other rulemaking you're engaged in?
We actually have 6 to 7% turnover, which is consistent with the other federal financial.
I would disagree. OPM would say otherwise, Chairman Gensler. Hey, real quick, last question. I think it might have came up. You were Hillary Clinton's CFO in the campaign, right?
It's part of my history.
Were you? Yes or no?
In 2016.
Did you facilitate the payment for the Steele dossier since you were CFO of the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Sir,
Yes or no?
sir,
Yes or no?
that was not.
You're under oath, Chairman Gensler. Yes or
I
no?
know. It was not something I was aware of.
Most popular digital assets and powers the Ethereum blockchain. Back in 2018, then SEC Corporation Finance Director Bill Hinman stated that he believed Ether was not a security. Last month, CFTC Chair Benham expressed his view that Ether is a commodity. The State Attorney General of New York asserted in a court filing last month that Ether is a security. Clearly, an asset cannot be both a commodity and a security. Do you agree?
Actually, all securities are commodity under the Commodity and Exchange Act. It's that we are excluded commodities. But I would agree that a security cannot also an excluded commodity and an included commodity. I'm sorry, Chair, just to talk about the Commodity Exchange Act more precisely.
Okay, so do you recognize, how would you categorize ether then?
Look, I think that the general sweep of what Congress did, not just in the 30s, but as amended.
I'm
over the
asking you,
years-
sitting in your chair now, to make an assessment under the laws as exist. Is ether a commodity or a security?
Without speaking to anyone,
I know you've
Okay.
repeatedly
It's
said
a
you're not
matter
going to
of
speak to
fact.
one, except you've spoken to one, Bitcoin. So I'm asking you to speak to a second one, the second largest market cap here.
And speaking to the tokens, there's 10 to 12,000. If there's a group of entrepreneurs in
I'm
the
asking
middle,
about
the
one.
public is anticipating a profit based on the.
I'm asking you a specific question, Chair Gensler. I said this in private. This should be no shock to you. I'm asking this question. Is ether a commodity or a security?
And again, it depends on the facts and the law. And if there's a group of
I'm
individuals.
asking you about the facts and the law sitting in your seat and the judgment you are making.
And so, Mr. Chair, I think you would not want me to prejudge because I'm also.
But you have
prepared-
prejudged on this. You've taken 50 enforcement actions. We're finding out as we go, as you file suit, as people get Wells notices on what is a security in your view, in your agency's view. I'm asking you a very simple question about the second largest digital asset. What is your view?
And my view is if there's a group of individuals in the middle that the public is
All
anticipating.
right. So let me just ask a
based
second
on those
question then.
efforts.
Do you think it serves the market for an object to be viewed by the commodities regulator as a commodity and the securities regulator to be viewed as a security? Do you think that provides safety and soundness for the product? Do you think it provides consumer protection? Do you think it serves the value of innovation? I think no should be a very simple answer for you here.
I think
That uncertainty is bad, is it not?
And I think that Congress has said that there's one agency, the Securities and Exchange Commission, under this committee.
And you won't answer my question, and you're the head of that agency. So give me a break. Come on.
I'm answering it in the generic because you would not want me to speak about any one set of facts and circumstance.
Okay, but you've already spoken. Have you said anything about Bitcoin?
My predecessors and the agency itself has spoken to.
Okay, but you're not willing to do the same about ether.
I think-
Okay, so let me just step back. There's a lack of clarity here in the marketplace. Can you at least agree to that?
I think that the clarity is there. The law is clear. That
All right.
There's a group
So let
of
me
individuals who rely
be
on
explicit about this. The market doesn't see it. Your regulatory actions and the CFTC's regulatory actions say that there's a great deal of uncertainty here. It is the intention of this committee to fix that uncertainty and actually provide a sound legal basis for this.